The time is 4 o'clock. I will call the Plan Commission meeting to order in person and via Zoom, Tuesday, November 22nd at 4 p.m. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Highfield,
Present.
Commissioner Kesnick. Nope. Commissioner Lesko Hare,
Here.
Commissioner Schultz,
Here.
Manager Lemire,
Here.
Engineer Sully.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda, review and possible action relating to the minutes of the October 25, 2022 regular Plan Commission meeting.
Move to approve the minutes from the October 25th, 2022 Plan Commission meeting as submitted.
Highfield second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda, review and possible action relating to a site plan review for St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church School Gym Building Addition located at 309 Bluff Street.
Yeah, thank you. This is a project that I think has been kind of a couple of years in the making with the proposed addition here. We've gone through a couple of iterations of the building itself, design and layout and things of that nature. And I think the what we have before us has full support from city staff. This is going to be an addition, a gym recreation, I guess, area on the backside of St. Paul's. This has some pretty significant topography off of Bluff Street there. For those of you that aren't familiar with the site, it kind of slopes off down to the east here a little bit. So it created some stormwater or runoff really concerns with the adjacent neighbors and things like that. Those concerns have been taken care of within the design of the structure, and I don't think we'll see any major impacts associated with this addition. The other side of the project that was was a little bit of a challenge to fit in was the aesthetics of the building itself. This is what I was looking for here. And we've talked, you know, I think at its face, the challenge was we're building a gym, and you know, typically a gym is a large pole type structure that you can add on to a building fairly inexpensively, but within the city environment, and particularly here within the residential, mature residential neighborhood that we have, the zoning code requires some improvements to the aesthetics of that addition, which St. Paul's has done a great job of accommodating. I'll note that staff in their review of that had only one request, and that was that these differentiated colors on this panel here, also shown in the lower right, extend all the way to the roof line. I'll bring this, or I brought this updated elevation view to the Plan Commission here. This was just submitted a few days ago, just simply confirming that they're on board with that, and they showed such in their updated elevation drawing. So that took care of the kind of the final aesthetic issue that we have. There was a number of other things associated with this that came through in the review, all of which are minor. I know that it appears we have a bit of a laundry list there, but really none of this stuff is something that city staff is concerned about or would at all withdraw our support for the project for. So without going through all of the details and the list of things in here, they're spelled out in the memo. I think what I'd like to do is just simply open it up for any questions that the Planning Commission staff or Planning Commission members may have. I'll note that we have folks in the audience here representing St. Paul's. If we need to ask any questions of them, I can have them come to the podium as well.
Andy, I know that those facade, they look black from the pictures. Can you please zoom into those
Sure
and
can.
just make sure that everybody understands that they are not black brick? Ah, yes, much better.
A little brown there.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that was clarified for
Yeah, that's a
for
good
everybody
point.
involved. Thank you.
It essentially matches much of the existing there. Yeah.
Right.
The documents we received, it references that there will be some accommodations that need to be made to sort of improve the flow of drop off and pick up. Do you have any kind of like first impressions of how that may, you know, what it might take to to achieve
To
that.
get there. Yeah, I think I've spoken with Gary Strom about that, and the principal at the school, I can't remember his name. Craig, thank you. We just had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about that. So the challenge there is that drop off needs to be on the school side of High Street. We also have middle school traffic moving through that area as well at the same time in the morning for drop off. And I think they're committed to making those improvements along there so that there's an expanse, if you will, of drop off area along that terrace on the school side. And then the pickup side of things is sometimes a challenge as well, because at pickup, everybody is coming out all at the same time, whereas drop off is a bit more dispersed. So pickup requires folks, parents to be able to park somewhere. They park across the street. So you have to have students often crossing Bluff Street in order to get to parked cars and things like that. So we talked about some signage that can go out in the crosswalk itself. We talked about crossing guards. Just kind of formalizing, I think, a number of discussions we've had in that area, in addition to some increased patrols, which happen, but they need to be more regular, I think, out there with the middle school traffic coming down Bluff Street as well. So this is a great opportunity for us to sort of formalize that in a plan of sorts and make sure that we can make some improvements there.
Thanks.
Have the folks from St. Paul's, you've reviewed the staff report and all the conditions of approval? And are you okay with all those conditions of approval? Okay, I will just note for the people on the Zoom that there was a lot of head nodding there. So yes, they have reviewed the conditions that are in the staff report, and yes, they are okay with their approval subject to those conditions. Any questions, comments, concerns from the Plan Commission?
I've got a question. If I don't know if anyone would be able to speak to this, just like, is this going to be during school use, after school use? Is it going to provide other opportunities for youth to have a safe place to go after school? You know, what are some of the determined usages for this facility?
No, you'll have to come up to the microphone. That green light should be on. If it's not, push the little oval in front of the.
Could you please also just state your name and address for the record?
Gary Strom, and 515 Blackhawk Bluff Drive, Milton. Yeah, we went over that. Currently, there's practices after school. And we were going to, because gymnasium space in Fort is very limited, we were going to open it up for open gym, as you might think. So those are the ideas that were, and the course, at the year end, we'll have the year end tournament. No different than it was until our insurance company said we can't use that for competitive games.
Sure. So just for a point of clarification, it's for the use of your school and the kids who are there, and you're not talking about an open gym, like a community open gym.
We're talking
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Andy, I've got one more question for you. It looks, the report indicated some stormwater concerns. It looks based on just some sort of new basin being created to kind of collect stormwater.
Yeah, that's correct. They have the new stormwater is what we're focused on, right? So the addition will create some additional impervious surface, not a lot, because there's already some blacktop or concrete there. I'm not sure which that exists in the footprint. But they have committed to capturing that additional runoff, storing it until it can be either infiltrated into the ground or run off more slowly. My only concern with that is a scenario that is I wouldn't say rare, but unusual, and that is where we have a rain on snow event in the springtime where the ground is still frozen, and so this basin will fill up and will overflow. And what I'd like to make sure we figure out is how to avoid concentrated flow. In other words, all of this water flowing in a kind of a discrete stream, if you will, straight out the east side of that, making sure that this is a little more diffuse. That's usually the event where we get a lot of water in places that we don't expect it on our own residential properties. And I think we can take care of that with some minor grading. So that was really the only concern that I had on the stormwater side of things.
And have the local residents, because it is surrounded by some residential housing, have they've been made aware of this development?
They have not. So the site plan review does not require anything other than the formal posting of the request and the notice of the meeting. Whereas conditional use or a change in zoning requires us to send letters to the individual landowners surrounding a property. The site plan review does not. And I don't know if you, I would assume probably have made these plans since they've been in development for a while, aware of some of the neighbors in the area, or certainly to the immediate south of you, I'm sure. Yeah. The representatives from St. Paul's were nodding their heads to that in answer to that question.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the Plan Commission?
All right,
Okay.
if there's no other comments or questions, I'll move forward. Move to approve the request for a site plan review for St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church School Gym located at 309 Bluff Street, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report and recommendation.
I feel second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any final questions or thoughts from the Plan Commission? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda, review and possible recommendation to the City Council relating to a certified survey map for St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church for the property located at 309 Bluff Street.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a follow-up, obviously, to the site plan approval. There are a number of parcel lines within this area. You can see here in black on the screen. What this CSM does is simply eliminate all of those individual parcels and combine this into a single lot, which is very much in keeping with what the city wants to do in these situations to make the interior lot lines go away. This allows us to better enforce the building codes and setbacks and things of that nature. The only thought that we had on the city side of things was the residential parsonage that is up in the upper right-hand corner, whether that should be kept on its own lot. And we did reach out to St. Paul's and ask the question, and they intend to leave that as a part of the larger parcel with some potential plans for that particular building in the future. So leaving it on the lot, I think is a good idea in this particular situation. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions that the commission members may have, but this is recommended for approval by city staff.
Just to note that this would be a recommendation to City Council, as the City Council would have the final approval for this item. Any questions from the Plan Commission?
Yeah, I have a question. So there's 3 separate parcels. Does this combine them into, are these like 3 separate taxing parcels? Like, would they get 3 separate tax bills for the 3 part, or I guess if it's for a nonprofit, they probably don't get that, but that
Right.
residential, I guess I'm trying to understand the combining of the 3, like, are
Well,
they 3 separately owned property, like identifiable properties, or?
So right now they're 3 separate parcels. You can see where the black lines are.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the parcel lines as they exist now. You can see the northern parcel includes part of a building, which we never like that to be the case. And then the parcel to the, I guess would be east there, is kind of floating, right? That's landlocked. It's not buildable. And then the main parcel, I guess, which would include the rest of the building. So in cases like this, we would want those to be combined. They're all under common ownership. As Engineer Sally mentioned, the one kind of item that caused us to pause is just the addition or the house being on that parcel to the north. But they do intend to use it as a parsonage, which is a permitted accessory use in this zoning district. Sorry, anything to add there, Engineer Sally?
No, I think with respect to the tax bills, Clerk Everett, I believe the tax bill goes, there'd be 3 tax bills on this currently, and once it's combined, it would be a single tax bill, right?
Correct.
But it wouldn't change the valuation or any of the taxing elements of the actual bill.
Okay, understood.
Can I answer any other questions?
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to recommend the city council approve the certified survey map for St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church for the property located at 309 Bluff Street.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any final questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is review and possible recommendation to the city council relating to the request for a public monument review for a kayak launch on city-owned property located at the municipal boat launch on Mechanic Street.
Thank you. We have Dakota Friend here. He's going to give a short presentation on his proposal to city staff and the plan commission. This will go through both the planning commission as well as the city council for our special area or special public monument review. Dakota, let me get you set up here and then I'll give you the mouse. And
All right, so my name is Dakota Friend. Sorry. I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 147, currently working on my Eagle project, which is the installation of this kayak launch. So here's a couple pictures of the site. So the project would consist of purchase. I would raise money and purchase the kayak launch and 4 of the bow tie. You can see here these black bow tie connecting pieces, and the kayak launch itself would be assembled right in this area on the innermost side of the dock between the dock and the wall. So this this placement right here would not interfere with any boat traffic, but it would allow for kayaks to come in through this area to get in and out of the kayaks. This piece would be able to be assembled on land and then floated into the water. So there wouldn't be any complications with trying to assemble anything in water. And it's also out of the way of the anchor points for the dock and the and it won't interfere with the there's these dividing guard rail things for the visually impaired. So those would just go right over top, so it wouldn't interfere with any of that. So here's my sketch of the plan to scale at and it'll be placed right in here. It's roughly that long. It's about 14 feet. and it would be connected to this piece right here. There are no connections to this extending piece out. And then the last part would be putting up a sign. The sign would have my name, the project, and then the date that it was put in, and the list of sponsors that helped to fundraise this project. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Just stay put for just a couple of minutes in case there's some questions. Want to stop the slideshow?
I do have a question. Can this be removed in winter? Or is this a permanent structure?
This is not a permanent structure. It is able to be installed and removed on the dates that they are installed and removed.
Yeah, so right now, Roz, the Public Works team commissions the insertion and removal of the public docks in spring and fall. And
Okay,
so they would, this would be included in that putting in and taking out annually. And storing, correct, Dakota? We would be storing this as well.
Yes.
so there will
basic-
be some sort of maintenance agreement?
This would become the property of the city. Once Dakota has raised the funds and purchased it, we would take care of installation and annual storage and removal during the season.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I like this idea a lot. I love it when we can make it easier for our local residents to access and enjoy the natural resource we have. So thanks for suggesting this, and I look forward to using it someday.
I also
Oh.
think it's a great idea.
I would move to recommend that the city council approve the request for a public monument review for a kayak launch on city-owned property located at the municipal boat launch on Mechanic Street.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments from the Plan Commission on this matter?
Yeah, I think one comment I have is please feel to reach out for a donation from your local planning commission member, Eric Schultz. Again, this is something I look forward to using myself. So, you know, if you want to reach out for donations, I will get you my contact information.
Yeah, I will just also mention it was a pleasure to work with Dakota on this project, and we're very much appreciative when folks have Eagle Scout projects and they contact city staff on the front end and really work together to make sure that it's a project that does serve a public purpose and that we can support at the Plan Commission and City Council level. So I want to thank Dakota for pursuing that and for working with us for the last couple months on this project and being willing to be flexible on where it goes and all that good stuff. So thank you for that. So there is a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Thanks, Dakota.
Next on the agenda is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I feel second.
It's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. This meeting is adjourned at 4:23 PM. Thank you.